You're watching Saints Now by Chat Sports. As always, I'm your host, Trizzy Trace Girouard. Got my guy Loco Lopez on the ones and twos. For today's video, the New Orleans Saints must bench these guys. It's time to make some changes. It's time to prioritize the youth movement. But I want to start off first by acknowledging a player that should not be benched yet, maybe not at all, at least in this moment in time. The day after the Week 3 embarrassment, I still think Spencer Rattler should not be benched. I'm going to give you 4 players who should be benched here momentarily, but let me explain my case. I do not believe Spencer Rattler has been the issue for the New Orleans Saints offense. I will not sit here and say he's been perfect because he has been far from that. But I do not believe he has been the reason that the offense has not been successful. I think that he has actually been one of the few bright spots of that unit, and I think that he overall has been impressive. I think a lot of y'all are just heard me say, I think Spencer Rattler's been perfect. He's the franchise guy, and he's going to win us 900 Super Bowls. He is the next coming of Drew Brees. That's not what I just said. I said that I thought he has been fine. I think he's been impressive. I don't think he's been perfect, but I think he's been okay. I'm going to explain my case and then get into more players, or all players that I think should be benched here momentarily. But really quick, got to thank today's presenting sponsor for this video, and that is Prize Picks. This episode of Saints Now by Chat Sports brought to you by the #1 daily fantasy sports app in the whole wide world, and that is none other than Prize Picks. Ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we make decisions every single day, but over on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid, so don't miss on any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. It's the best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your ball knowledge into cold, hard cash all season long. It's the best place to win money while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. For Monday Night Football, I got a fun little lineup. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Derrick Henry, both guys just got to find the end zone. Trying to make some money because the New Orleans Saints did not help me in that regard this week. So I need to go cash in, and I'm feeling pretty good about these projections. You can fade these picks. You can tail these picks. Don't really care what you do. Just make sure you get in on the action over at Prize Picks. You download the app and use code CLNS. You'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Reminder, that's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. All that information is available in the comments and description of this video. Shout out to Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Now, going back to the Spencer Rattler conversation, looking at the numbers, you can see he has not been the problem. The New Orleans Saints offense by no means has been pretty. It has been an absolute travesty, to be totally frank. However, Spencer Rattler has been keeping the offense alive. You can see it in each of his 3 games, over 200 yards. He's protected the football really, really well. And 118 rating in Week 2. Sure, those numbers dropped in Week 3, and it wasn't all beautiful in Week 3, and it was a disgusting loss. That being said, I do think that he is a guy who has shown he is not the worst quarterback in the league. And for somebody who was labeled that going into Week 1, it's pretty nice to see that he's proving the haters wrong. And for what it's worth, don't look, but Spencer Rattler is in the top half of the National Football League in passing yards through 3 weeks. This video was filmed before Monday Night Football, so obviously we have to see Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff, and see what they are capable of doing. Spencer Rattler right now has more yards than them. Of course, Monday Night Football should change that, but right now he is in the top half of the league in passing yards. Come on. He's 14th. There's 32 teams. He is in the top 50%. You want to see a list of players who have less passing yards than Spencer Rattler? You're going to be surprised when I show this to you. No one in the NFC South is outperforming Spencer Rattler. Based off the numbers, Rattler is QB1 in the division. You want to argue with me? That's fine. But the numbers will say that I'm right, and if you disagree, you're wrong. C.J. Stroud, right under 600 yards. He's had a really rough start to this year. Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to be honest, I thought the Pittsburgh Steelers offense was going to be okay, especially adding DK Metcalf. He hasn't really done a ton at all. And that's not to say that Aaron Rodgers or the Steelers offense has been bad, but that's Aaron Rodgers. It's getting outperformed by Spencer Rattler, 5th-round pick from last year. Kyler Murray, Bo Nix, Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts. Clearly, they miss Kellen Moore up in Philadelphia. So in my opinion, going back to this conversation, do we bench Spencer Rattler? There are people on social media, there are people in the live chat, there's people in my comment section who are saying you might as well. It's just time to go put Tyler Shuck in there. And I think that benching Rattler would make no sense right now. Maybe down the road, later in the season, bye week, we can revisit this conversation. But for right now, I don't think it makes any sense. So I'm going to tell you 4 players who it does make sense for. I want you to name one guy, though, who needs to be benched. Maybe it's one of the 4 players I'm about to name. I have a feeling a lot of y'all are going to write down the guy I'm about to show you. But get in the comment section, put on your head coaching hat, and name a player who you think needs to ride the bench on game days. First guy I'm going to name on this list is Isaac Yiadom. He has been terrible. He has been awful. He has not been good. The New Orleans Saints could potentially earn a comp selection if Isaac Yiadom doesn't hit a certain threshold of snaps played this year. And I can tell you right now, I am just fed up and I'm tired and I'm done watching a 29-year-old cornerback struggle. I'm not saying that you should bench him for the sole purpose of keeping that comp pick because Paulson Adebo left in free agency. But I am saying that you should bench him because he's just been outright bad. He has not been a contributor on the defense. He's not been a reliable piece. And for a player who got the start because he has more experience and he's the veteran, he's not been good enough. And Quincy Riley, when we have seen him in a very, very small sample size, has answered the call and been impressive. I mean, when we saw Quincy Riley get on the defense, he was making an immediate impact. He did a great job forcing a fumble late in the fourth quarter. He stuffed the run right at the line of scrimmage, did a phenomenal job, put the shoulder pad right on the ball. Ball gets jarred loose. Pete Werner comes up with the recovery. Again, the game was way out of reach by then, but it was a great play by Quincy Riley, and that's a guy who has been praised for being such a ball hawk and being somebody who makes plays and has a nose for the football. We saw Riley get run with this before some of the other backups and second-team guys, and Kellen Moore, he's wanting to get more action for Quincy Riley in the rotation, even saying they anticipated him getting more action being a part of the formula for the defense. So in my personal opinion, I don't think that there is any justifiable reason to put Isaac Yiadom on the field over Quincy Riley at this point. Yiadom hasn't been good. He has not been reliable. And Quincy Riley, in the limited sample size we've seen from him, has been a good player. I want to see him get tested. I want to see him grow. I want to see him develop because I would much rather watch a rookie struggle and go through growing pains than a 29-year-old get absolutely dusted week in and week out. Call me crazy, but I would much rather develop the future than just try to cling on to right now. If you guys want to subscribe to the channel, we are on the road to 100K. We're right under 51,000. Today's goal, we're just trying to get to 50,700, so only need 25 of y'all to hit that sub button and join our Golden Gang for 100% free Saints content by fans, for fans. 49,325 until we get to that milestone and get that plaque. We're chipping away. Every single video, help us out. No subscriber is too small. Every subscriber helps. So join the family, join the squad, and let's get that plaque. Now, Brandin Cooks, I believe, also needs to find less time on the field. And I don't want to sit here and say that Brandin Cooks has been absolutely disastrous. For what it's worth, the New Orleans Saints did sign him to a 2-year contract, and I think that having him on the roster is beneficial in terms of having a veteran wide receiver. But that doesn't mean he needs to be starting and getting a ton of snaps and a ton of run every single week. I think he could be more of a support role and be kind of a guy who gets rotated in here and there. Like I think with Brandin Cooks, he's made some okay plays. He's had some moments where it's been like, all right, that's nice. But he hasn't done anything for me to be like, wow, you got to keep him on the field. And like, again, I go back to this conversation, you got to prioritize the youth. So when you look at the wide receiver room and how it shakes out, obviously Trey Palmer and Devon Vele missed last week due to injuries. But I think when Trey Palmer gets healthy, I think you can swap Palmer for Brandin Cooks, considering they're both speedsters. Mason Tipton, I've also made arguments before. I think he should get more run and get more opportunities. Devon Vele, I think that he's a guy that the New Orleans Saints clearly want to be a part of their offensive plan based off of the trade that they made to bring him in the preseason. And I do believe that Devon Vele will emerge and have a bigger role as the season progresses and as, of course, he gets healthy. And I think with Devon Vele, he did a good job in week 2 of proving why the New Orleans Saints traded for him. He out-physical the 49ers defensive back, was able to put himself in a position to secure a touchdown pass, and I want to see more of that utilized on the Saints offense because I think that big-bodied contested catch ability, that's something that's missing on this team. And Devon Vele does provide that. Whether you know it or not, he is really, really good in contested catches, 60% contested catch success rate last year. And on top of that, he's also been somebody who has been a really, really solid guy to target in the red zone. I think he should get more work when you are trying to get those first downs and either extend drives or try to score touchdowns and complete those drives because the New Orleans Saints have been struggling in that regard. And I think Devon Vele, as the season continues to go, his role will emerge and will evolve, and he will have a bigger role moving forward. Let's go to the trenches because there's one player I have been very, very disgusted with over the past few years, and it's a player that I am so tired of trying to make a case for. He's a player I'm disgusted with, to be quite frank. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know why they ever paid him. And I tweeted this out 2 days after the Week 1 loss. And I could not sit here and believe this anymore if I wanted to today. The New Orleans Saints need to look to replace Cesar Ruiz. He is not good. He is a bad offensive lineman. He is unreliable. He is just downright not doing good. And there's one play in specific that really gets under my skin. It's Juwan Johnson and Cesar Ruiz. Johnson's trying to run out to go for a pass, and him and Ruiz start blocking each other. What is that about? How are you going to block your own tight end? You're wearing the same color helmet, jersey, pants as you. Make it make any sense. Cesar Ruiz has been downright atrocious this year. Less than 40 overall PFF grade. Less than 40 run blocking grade. No sacks allowed, but he's allowed 4 pressures. Cool. Awesome. Don't care. He's terrible. And to be totally honest, the fact that the New Orleans Saints paid him in 2023, it makes this so much more frustrating. And I don't even know why they paid him to begin with. They should have never given him money. They should have never extended him. They should have never put more cash in his pocket. He is stealing money. He is causing problems, and he has been so unreliable. I can honestly think of one play in Cesar Ruiz's tenure that really stuck out, and I was like, wow, that's a great play by him. And it was on the Alvin Kamara screen pass against the Cowboys in Week 2 last year when he booked it downfield and was a lead blocker for most of the way. That's the only time I can think of Cesar Ruiz doing something good for my football team. He has been atrocious. He's been a liability, and he needs to get off the field. The only problem, I don't think the Saints can take him off the field. I mean, look at the depth chart right now. You're pretty decimated already with injuries. And Torsilli Simpkins, he filled in yesterday because Radens and Trevor Penning both dealing with injuries in Week 2, and he wasn't super duper impressive. I'm going to give him some slack here because undrafted free agent, rookie, getting his first start in a tough position against a good defensive line and a good defense in Seattle. But there's not a lot of options here for the New Orleans Saints, especially if the other injuries are really settling in. So, in my opinion, I don't think the New Orleans Saints can afford to bench Cesar Ruiz. That's what's so freaking frustrating. That's what really grinds my gears. The offensive line is decimated. They're hurt. They're not playing great football. And they're committing a lot of penalties. Cesar Ruiz, one of the guys committing a bunch of those. So is everyone else. I'm not saying that nobody else is committing penalties. But the offensive line is already injured. I don't think the New Orleans Saints can afford to take Cesar Ruiz off the field. And to be totally honest, we got to find a way to get off of his contract this year. We got to find a way to get him out of New Orleans this offseason without question. There's no reason he should be back in the black and gold next year. Now, number 4 player, I promised you 4, so here's the 4th. Blake Grupe. It's time to have a conversation about benching Blake Grupe because obviously he has not been good. He's missed 3 field goals so far this season. A miss in Week 1 from 53 yards, a miss in Week 2 from 43 yards, and a miss in Week 3 from 42. 53, 43, 42. Just hasn't been good, man. He just hasn't been reliable. And to be totally honest, I'm just fed up with how he's played. And it's really, really frustrating when you have a player who's had multiple kicker battles and he continues to win them, and he's still playing bad. And that's frustrating because all the reports coming out of training camp and this summer everything was that Blake Grupe's been Mr. Consistency. He may not have missed an entire field goal all summer, but now, guy can't make it. I mean, it's frustrating. I mean, shout out to Sig for this stat right here. Since Blake Grupe's rookie year, most field goal misses. Grupe's 5th. For reference, Will Lutz has 8 misses since 2023. That's tied for 18th. The guy that originally lost to Blake Grupe in the kicker battle, shout out to Dennis Allen, is playing better. It's frustrating, to say the least. Kind of going with the Cesar Ruiz thing, though. I don't know if the Saints can bench him. I don't know if you know this. Blake Grupe's a captain. Blake Grupe earned the captain title by the team. He was selected as a captain. So I would be totally shocked if there was any changes anytime soon at the kicker position. Maybe this offseason, maybe. Maybe there's a draft pick, a trade, free agency acquisition, a UDFA, something there. There needs to be something there. But I would be so shocked if the New Orleans Saints made a change, especially around a captain. I think that wouldn't make a ton of sense from an internal perspective. Externally, as a fan, I want to see him play better. And I think that the best thing moving forward is just Blake Grupe figuring it out and playing better football. As dumb and as lazy of a take as it sounds, I think the best thing for him is to play better. Charlie Smith, for what it's worth, is on the practice squad. So maybe you give an opportunity to the Irishman, but he has struggled with consistency and accuracy issues as well. So, I don't want to sit here and take anything away from the special teams room, but Phil Galliano has some work to do in that regard, and special teams has just not been a strength of the New Orleans Saints. Makes me really miss Darren Rizzi, for what it's worth. But I want you guys to get down in the comment section and let me know, what should the New Orleans Saints do at kicker? We've given you 4 players who the Saints need to put on the bench. I gave a pretty good argument, I think, for all of them. And I gave a really strong argument, in my opinion, as to why Spencer Rattler should not get benched. What do you think they should do at kicker? Just keep Blake Grupe on the field, elevate Charlie Smith, sign Younghoe Koo. There's a lot of options out there. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Y'all stay golden, and we'll see you next time.